We have a problem that is common to third world countries where skilled laborers, especially in the healthcare sector, migrate away to get better pay elsewhere. If this issue has to be tackled, then we need to talk about the economy at large, because doctors alone would not be singled out of the whole system to be paid a better wage. There will be a domino effect. The doctors will ask for more, the nurses will ask for more. And if you talk about doctors in the government sector, what about those in the private sector also? So what we have is a very huge problem, and I don't see any shortcut to tackling this problem unless the economy actually improves.
Well, what do you make of the continuous comparison between state-owned hospitals and private hospitals? People seem, is the operative word, to prefer private hospital. Why do you think this is so?
I did a Vox Pop recently, and 90% of the people that responded to that same question actually said private hospital. The problem is this, and I can even tell you from practice that in private practice, when it gets to a case and you feel that, oh, this case is too technical, I need to refer this person to a government hospital, the patient will literally tell you that they don't want to go. Do you understand? It's a nightmare sometimes going to a government hospital. People can leave as early as 5 a.m. in the morning, and they may not come back till 5, 6 p.m. in the evening. So when even for the doctors also, it's a lot of stress, especially in big hospitals. The setting doesn't give room for a good experience of care for the patient. So it's always frightful. It's what people may wonder. Some people may say, okay, it might be cheaper, but at some point people don't really care about the cost, because the emotional trauma they go through when you are in a system in which you have to go and pay money in the north, collect receipt in the east, get the drugs in the west to go and give the doctors in the south, and you have to walk a long distance around. It's like nobody cares per se. People feel lost. People always want to find someone they know in that system that they can attach to have a minimum set of belongings, so that they know that, oh, the person we brought here is being cared for. So it's an experience nobody actually really wants to go. People eventually just succumb to going to it eventually when they have no other option.
You mentioned earlier about people, doctors leaving the shores to look for better opportunities. And Saudi Arabia seemed to be the destination of some of our medical doctors and personnel. What do you think they're doing differently that we're not?
The pay is better, the economy is better. People go to Canada, people go to USA, people go to Europe, to UK, people go to Australia, people go to Saudi Arabia, to Oman, another country, even South Africa. The pay is better. Now, on the other aspect, it doesn't mean that some doctors can't do well in this part of the world also, when you set up your own practice and you work within your means. But you see, doctors are not wired to be entrepreneurial. Doctors are not wired to set up hospitals. Doctors are wired more or less to collect salaries. So they actually follow that salary. Do you get my point? And it's not so good, because sometimes in this sector, you need to be entrepreneurial to actually do well as a person in the healthcare field. And even those that actually travel, it's only for a while. Because for after 10, 15, 20 years in service over there, it's not really anymore about the money. They want a sense of fulfillment, a sense of purpose, and they don't have it there. So they just resort to the fact that, oh, I'm still in this country because of my kids and stuff like that. They really want to come back to the country and see how they can do to improve the system and have a sense of fulfillment in their career. So it's not, the primary reason why people just go is a means of survival, to provide themselves the basic needs of food, shelter, and clothing, and actually have a respectable means of livelihood. In
recent times, we've seen strong protest in the media by doctors. The most recent, I think, is from Lute, where they went out, lawsuit rather, where they went out to say they need better pay, they need more doctors to help with the workload and all of that. What, in your opinion, can government do to address the situation, especially with doctors and medical personnel in this country?
Now, first of all, the government actually has to pay more attention to health. Health is very key. And the minimum amount, I think, stipulated by WHO about the budget, I'm not sure about the exact figure, they're not paying attention to it in this part of the world. Lawsuit for a while has not, I stand to be corrected, they've not even employed new doctors for a while. Healthcare is expensive anywhere in the world. It's a big budget project for any government. And if a government really doesn't personally feel that they have a strong role or a strong duty to the people to provide good health care, it becomes a problem. It goes underfunded. Another problem we do have is actually about the doctors themselves. The running of the hospital, the running of the government hospitals is not done in best practice of business. Okay, I'll give you an example why I said so. The medical director of a hospital is usually a political appointment. This is somebody who has been working as a doctor all his life, writing papers, writing research papers, treating people, and then gets a political appointment to now come and head the hospital, an administrative role. He more or less has to rely on his subordinates, and wherever they go, he will lead. He primarily sees it as, okay, we make money, we service this facility, then we collect subvention from government and we use to pay salaries. And when there's a shortfall in any of these things, they don't tend to balance out the sensibility of the economics of the business in that matter. So you have a problem in which the hospitals are not properly being run. There's no innovation. There's no development per se. The care of the experience is still the same over the years. And doctors are actually complaining about the administration, who is actually headed by a doctor also. So it's just a domino effect of bad policies on bad policies on bad policies.